Hello, I'm Andrew Patterson from interest.co.nz and welcome to another in our Business Success series. With me today, the founder and managing director of Customer Radar, Mat Wylie. Hi there, Matt.
Hi Andrew, how are you doing?
So Matt, Customer Radar, how did the idea come about? Tell us a bit about the background to the business.
Well, it was a concept I had in mind for a year or so based on some work that we've been doing in our marketing communications business. And we saw an opportunity in the market that there wasn't any live customer feedback information available. Most of it was done through traditional market research or mystery shopping, which just wasn't delivering what the customers wanted. And technology had changed significantly, which then created an opportunity.
So how does it work, and how does it differ from the way people traditionally have been researching customer feedback?
So essentially it uses the customer's mobile phone as the primary feedback device. So everyone has got a mobile phone these days. So essentially they're engaged, particularly in retail, to give live feedback on their experience in the moment. So essentially that's the key thing. It's real time. So you're telling people about what you're thinking right now, and because everyone's got a phone, they can do it straight away.
So you came up with the idea, but then you were dealing with a macroeconomic environment that wasn't exactly favourable. Just tell us about the background story as to how all that happened.
Yeah, so global financial crisis in about 2009, just as we were about to really hit the market, put a huge amount of pressure on us. But in hindsight, it meant that it asked questions of us and our technology that we probably wouldn't have asked otherwise. So we were investing ourselves in the business, so that put a lot of pressure on. But it meant that we've ended up with a more robust product, and we're certainly in a position now where we're better than where we would have been, I guess.
How did you deal with the funding side of it? Because obviously startups always have a fairly healthy requirement for capital. How did you deal with that?
I guess I had some wise advice early on from people that said it'll take 3 times as long and cost 3 times as much. And of course, being a true entrepreneur, I was like, no, I've got this thing sorted. Anyway, it's probably been more than that. But we're self-funded, so we have another business that's been helping fund it, and it's been personally funded as well.
Because you've got another company, Dynamite, which you set up, and that presumably gave you some understanding of where the niche existed for this particular business.
Yeah, absolutely. And the skill sets that came from Dynamite, being promotional, research, technology, are 3 key elements to the business. So it's a combination of skill sets that came out of that.
So Matt, tell us about some of the practical insights that you get out of research like this, because often we forget that research actually can come up with some really interesting insights.
Yeah, so actually this Customer Radar gives you the ability to literally see through your customer's eyes. So one of the best examples that we've had was with a hairdressing salon, where a customer gave feedback that the ceiling above the shampoo basins was dirty. So if you think about it, when was the last time the business owner literally sat back, looked at the ceiling and said, oh, that's dirty. Now it's a simple fix because they just clean it. That problem is done. But you actually wonder how many customers before had been through, seen that, and then they're sitting there lying there thinking, okay, so what else is not dirty? Is this the standard of this business? But it was a simple fix. So clean the ceiling, done.
I've had the same experience, staying in hotels, being slightly taller, you can see dust levels that nobody else seems to do, and often you want to share that, but you think, can't be bothered.
It can't be bothered. So if it's easy enough, and the fix with that is simple too, just have somebody who's taller walk around and do a check. It's not rocket science, but actually getting that information helps you improve your business.
And of course, you're collecting large numbers of these insights. So over time, I guess this is the other part of the business, becomes really valuable. All of the data that you're actually collecting.
Yeah, absolutely. So to date, we've had about 350,000 responses through the system. So it becomes a large data set of live insights. And so we can track trends by industry, by region, and we can see what's positive, what customers like and what they don't like.
How much did you research the concept, and how much was it a bit of a gut feel that this is what I think the market actually needs?
It was entirely gut feel, because there wasn't anything like it that existed. And as we've learnt, this is all greenfields for us. So we're actually creating an industry as we go, creating a new challenge. So it's difficult to actually go and research anything, because we saw an opportunity that in the market, so there was nothing that existed.
And so I walk into a shop and I've got my smartphone, and therefore how does it work? How does the engagement process, how does the platform actually operate?
Right, so it doesn't have to be a smartphone, so it can be text or smartphone. So every phone in the world can send and receive text messages, so the primary feedback mechanism is via text, but you can use smartphone as well. Essentially, the companies will put it on the bottom of the till receipt, or there'll be a feedback card or some sort of invitation for you to give feedback. You're asked to give an answer on a question like, how would you, based on your experience, would you recommend us today to friends or family? You give a code, ratings, and then comments on what you thought, and then you're done. So it's very short and simple.
Because the basic metric for any business is, would you recommend the business? If you can understand that, you're probably understanding about 90% of your customers, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and that methodology is called Net Promoter Score, and it is quite a different approach to asking a satisfaction question, because if I'm asking what I recommend, it's now putting my reputation on the line for that business. So it changes the dynamic in the way that you think. So it's quite a powerful measure.
What about the take-up? How do you incentivise customers to actually, go and do what's asked of them?
Well, we always encourage the companies to have some sort of an incentive to respond. So, but not that it's so over the top that you're buying favour with the customers. So, we typically achieve around about a 20% response rate. So that's 1 in 5 customers, up to 1 in 5 customers that are giving feedback. So, you end up with a decent sized data set to give you some accurate information.
It doesn't skew the data in the sense that the people who want to respond are generally the people who are not happy?
No, not at all. Actually, you get a genuine measure, and that's probably one of the most powerful things, is that they say that 96% of people don't complain. That's what the global research suggests. But the other side of it too is that people also don't compliment. So if you think about a retail environment, which can be hard slog, customers don't often turn around and say, "Hey, thanks, I really appreciate you smiling and being helpful today." But that information is just as powerful to encourage good behaviour as getting those complaints to discourage the bad behaviour.
What about the management of the data? Do you support that, or do you just let the companies actually use that according to whatever way they decide they want to use it?
Well, so Customer Radar has the smarts of Customer Radar. It's a live hosted analytics system. So essentially, it's all delivered live via dashboards. So the companies can log in and see exactly how they're going in real time based on how their customer sees their business at any time of the day, and benchmarks every location against each other in real time. And in addition to that, it can alert them if somebody's dissatisfied. It'll let them know straight away so that they can actually recover that customer as quickly as possible.
And that's really important for a business, isn't it? Because there's no point finding out that your customer standard has deteriorated, a year after that's been going on, because by that stage it's already made an impact on your turnover.
Yeah, and that's probably where one of the big opportunities sat for us, is that a lot of the methodologies at the moment, they're time delayed. So often managers will get a report at the end of the month saying that this is the number of people that gave a response to our feedback method. There's 20 people that were dissatisfied. Well, you're going, that's too late. It's up to 30 days later. You can't ring those people now and say, now we care about the fact that you were dissatisfied. They've often gone and they've defected. And in a lot of cases, they have told other people, or even worse, they've gone onto social media review sites, and they've slagged you off, which you're then in reputation recovery mode, which is not good.
How have you found the businesses have responded to the data? How have they used this data to actually change the way they operate?
They get insights right down to a location level, so it can help things like staff scheduling. Often they will see that customer satisfaction will drop during the lunch break, for example, and that may be an issue with the way that when their staff are taking lunch breaks. So then they can see that, they can adjust it, and they can see the change in satisfaction. We've had some businesses that have changed their whole scheduling as a result of the information they've seen, and one particular business, which was a cafe business, the owner told me that he was saving about $50,000 a year in labour cost, and he'd improved his satisfaction score because of what he could see.
And so you've got businesses across the board, all the way from just a couple of people employed in the business, all the way through to the banks and everybody.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So small businesses, it's just as valuable to a small business as it is to a multinational. So somebody like Toyota, who uses the program, they're all individual businesses. The branches, the dealerships. So it's just as important to them as it is to a group level to see how they're performing. Likewise, for a local a cafe or restaurant, and in a lot of cases they're actually more challenged because they don't typically get benchmarking data, and everyone wants to look over the fence and see what the neighbour's doing. And if you can actually get some sort of comparative benchmark in your competitive environment and say, okay, well, this is where we are, we're in the middle somewhere, and we know we're not the best, but we know we're not the worst, but we've got room for improvement, and you can see what you need to do improve. That's it's pretty powerful information.
Sounds like such a simple concept. You must have been surprised that nobody had thought of it before.
Yeah, it is simple on the front end. It's probably like anything. The simplicity at the front end means complexity in the back end. And we've had a couple of people say to us, "Oh, that looks easy. We could do that." And we've actually had a couple of our major multinational clients who have said to us they looked at trying to build it themselves, but got to a point where they realised actually it's a lot more complex. And the other thing is that we've got 4 or 5 years of R&D and development behind this technology. So that's probably actually one of the most valuable things, is that the know-how and the accumulated learning, and the system continues to evolve based on our user development. So we'll only develop something if our clients come to us and say, it would be really great if the system could do this. Mm-hmm. So we don't hear off on a path of things that we think would be great. It's all done by our clients' feedback.
Is there an opportunity to interface with other software management tools, and a bit like Xero is sort of linking with Vend, and you've got this sort of cooperative arrangement happening? Is that a strategy you've been looking at?
Yes, we're looking at that now, what the next step is. So the likes of those two companies that you just mentioned would be the sort of companies that we could look at how we could engage with them and help them add a feedback module to what they're doing. So we don't currently do it right now, but that's absolutely where we're looking to go, both locally and internationally.
Because then obviously you can offer a complete solution across a number of different areas. Is this something you think New Zealand is really starting to get a handle on, perhaps finally?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the opportunity is there's a whole world of opportunities, and that's the exciting thing, I guess, being in a technology-based business. New Zealand is an amazing ground for testing and measuring, but the fact that we can take things globally from New Zealand is very, very exciting.
What about scaling a business like that, and how have you actually worked? I mean, in terms of the IT development and all that, have you contracted that out? How much have you done it within house, and how much have you actually outsourced some of this development?
So a bit of both, essentially, and we're just in the process of really reviewing what the next step is, because essentially, we're looking at our global expansion plans. We're already operating in Australia. We're having conversations with people in Asia at the moment about how we can use the technology there. So really just looking at the scalability challenges and how we can take it forward.
Is the business coming to you, or are you going out and finding it?
It's still relatively early days, and one of the things that we've done is we've kept a relatively low profile. I guess we've flown under the radar to a degree, so that we've got to a point where we've proven our worth, and we've done that. So now we're really looking to grow. So it's mainly been us going out and approaching people. That's starting to change now, probably because of the reputation that we're building.
And what will that mean in terms of expansion of staff recruitment and so forth?
So the technology, we've built it from day one so that the technology does a lot of the hard work. A lot of our focus is really around the relationships. So relationships are, even with technology, relationships are a big part of business. So it's very much about our client support, helping our clients use the information. So not so much on the technology side of things. It is a pretty robust system that works really effectively.
And what about protecting the IP? Has that been a part of the process as well?
Yes, it has, and it's a very, very interesting discussion around IP, patenting, those sorts of things. Even talking to the patent lawyers, software is often a grey area, and we've got to a point where we went down the path of the patent, but we've actually realised that it's more about our know-how and the things that we don't disclose that we would have to disclose in the patent process where a lot of our IP sits.
And what's your vision for the business? How big could you get? What sort of footprint do you think you could amass over a period of time?
Well, at the moment we're at a real tipping point, and we have global aspirations. and it is early days. As I said, New Zealand and Australia is our backyard, I guess. So that's what we're playing in right now. But with the change in technology that we're just going through at the moment, any company anywhere in the world will be able to use Customer Radar within the next couple of months. How we roll that out is part of our strategy and our planning. So we're looking at that. But yeah, absolutely, there's we see a huge opportunity. Quite how big that is right now from a dollar perspective, we don't know, but we feel that it's it could be significant.
And customers pay a license fee to be part of it?
Yes, they do. Yeah, so they use a user license. The company pays a user license to be involved and access the data.
Is that based on size?
Based on the number of locations that they want to measure, essentially. So it's flexible and scalable based on every business. So if you're an individual business, you can use it, or if you've got 100 or 1,000 outlets, you can use it. It's all relative.
And obviously the ability to dial in real time. You can log in from anywhere and actually effectively see how your business is performing from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a philosophy that from the chairman of the board to somebody who's on the shop floor should be able to look at this information and know what they need to do to improve the customer experience. So it's about just simplicity of data. We're not into sending big spreadsheets out for people to try and understand what's going on. Make it easy to access. If you can look at it on a screen and you can see where your peaks and your troughs are in your business, and that's where you need to focus your improvement.
You got another idea on the radar for the follow-on?
Yes, there's a bunch of other ideas that lend itself to follow on from this. So whether I can disclose those just at the moment, watch the space.